Today we're going to talk about alternatives to eBay and some other important sites you should know about. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at some alternatives to eBay. I get asked that question constantly. Where else can I sell besides eBay? We're going to show you the three predominantly talked about ones. We're not going to include Amazon in that list because Amazon's in a whole different ballpark, different rules, different regulations, and a lot of things that many people can't sell, especially in the collectibles category. So we won't include that. Let's hop over now and look at some of these sites as well as some of the trending so you can see how important, how much traffic they actually get. Now, there's really only three that we're going to address today. Those are three that can sell pretty much everything you can on eBay on those sites as well. Bonanza is one of them, eCrater is another one, and EBid. Those are the three ones that you can sell pretty much the same thing on eBay as well as those sites. Now, Etsy is another viable platform, but it has many limits, including new NOS and things like that, that aren't tied to creative or collectibles. So it's not on the same ballpark either. Neither would be Ruby Lane because there's limitations. Neither would Reverb or any of the other sites like that. They're only specific niche sites for the most part, and they can't be included in here because you're not openly able to sell pretty much anything. Now, Bonanza has a way to import all of your listings from eBay for no cost. No cost to the seller. I see mixed results on there. I don't pay much attention to the reviews because the site traffic and trending is what matters to me. I don't care what a review says. If it doesn't have traffic, the review means nothing to me. The platform, though, itself is still okay. Nowhere near what eBay is. And we're going to show you some of those numbers in just a few minutes here. Now, let's look at eCrater for just a second here. Now, eCrater, you can sell pretty much anything you want on here as well. Fees are comparable. It's pretty reasonable. I do believe they have an import section as well. You can also open up a full-fledged store and have some name recognition through this platform on their marketplace, of course. Now, I do believe most all of these do offer the ability to link or to do Google posts also in Google Shopping. Now, eCrater is probably one of the smaller ones. Again, it does have a decent amount of stuff for being a small site, but the viewership, again, is what I'm worried about on the site itself. Now, the last one has the most promise, and that is EBid. They have been gaining ground. They are paying for advertisements. They do show up fairly regularly. If you put in eBay alternative, they're usually one of the top ones that shows up. They've got around 2.5 to 3 million items up, more than $1 billion in merchandise up at any time. It doesn't have a ton of stuff in each category, but they're about where eBay was when eBay was first getting into the field. So who knows? But as of right now, it's not a massive site. Now, Etsy, as we know, does allow you to sell a lot of things that I sell. So Etsy is a viable site for me, but again, it's not a comparable one to eBay because they're very specific on what you can sell. So we're not going to consider that in the list. Now, when I'm looking at any of these sites, the biggest thing that I look at is where it's trending. Where does it rank on Google Trends? And I use Google Trends all the time for various different things. I'm just doing a basic comparison here. Now, I have eCrater on here, which is the blue line you see running through here. The red line is EBid, and then we have Bonanza, which is the yellow line here, which is way down in pretty much level with eCrater as well. So out of these three, EBid is the most popular out of these. Most people haven't a clue or have even heard of EBid, or they mix it up with UBid. Now, UBid is, again, very specific. They come from manufacturers and things like that, and it's not comparable as well to eBay. Now, let's compare Etsy on here as well, so you can see the difference between a bigger company and these three as well. Now, again, Etsy isn't anywhere near what eBay is and is so far off from Amazon, it's not even funny. Now, on here, Etsy is the only one that has a track on here. The rest of them all kind of blend into one. So that gives you an idea on the overall viewership of those compared to just Etsy. Now, let's do one more, and let's add on eBay onto here as well. Now, you may see that I had to put in Bonanza.com. If I just search by Bonanza, it pulls up the TV show and all kinds of things. So I have to narrow it down some way. So I've used .com. The numbers, though, match pretty much whatever else I see also. So the percentage-wise is pretty darn straight with Bonanza.com compared to the other ones. eCrater is its own thing. So if you type in eCrater, you're automatically only looking for their website. The same thing with EBid, eBay, and Etsy. Everybody knows the name, so all you got to do is type in those. Bonanza is the one that probably the name is bad to begin with, just because there's too many other things tied with Bonanza. There's grocery store chains and all kinds of other things tied with Bonanza. It's the only one that has a bad name in my book, in that that's what's hurting the site itself. But overall, eBay dwarfs everybody. eBay dwarfs Etsy. So if you want to look at alternatives to eBay, there really isn't any. I don't say eBay's a monopoly on it because other people can get into the game. eBay's just been doing it longer and was the very first. So they have a benefit from being around that length of time. It's going to take somebody else quite some time to take them over. Now, if you look at the numbers, everybody ticked up at the same time frame with the pandemic. So you can obviously see that the pandemic has increased. Now, eBay has gone down a little bit. Etsy is still up on the rise. So Etsy is doing better than it had for quite some time. So Etsy business, if they sold more things, would be probably the closest competition that eBay would have, would be Etsy. Now, if I put Amazon on here, it's going to dwarf all of these. You'll just basically see eBay and Amazon with a little blip on the bottom for Etsy. You can do that as well if you want. Again, this is Google Trends. I use this quite often, pretty much 4 or 5 times a week or more, to search out things, items, keywords, and sundries. For keyword search, this is very good, so you can see what's trending. You can type in what's trending in general without even having to type something in, and then just go to trending items and pick out something to sell based on what's actually trending also. So just FYI, this is a great tool. Bottom end is, though, again, there is no competition for eBay. Any of those 3 sites I mentioned, eCrater, eBid, or Bonanza, all haven't a chance to overtake eBay anytime in the near future, no matter what happens. They've all been around for quite some time and still haven't been able to break a certain mark. eBid probably is the one that would have the best chance, I would have to say, based on name and other factors as well, because it's very similar to eBay. Very easy to pop in, and it does show up now when they're searching for online reselling platforms. When I've looked at them as well in detail, they are spending some money. Their staff has grown, so it is possible that they are growing. But as of right now, and any time in the near future, years down the road, I don't see any competitors that will be able to challenge eBay's standard. Again, I'm not comparing Amazon to eBay because they're different beasts. They do different things. Amazon does delivery and all kinds of other things. Etsy doesn't sell the same thing. So again, I'm not comparing Etsy to eBay either because it wouldn't be a fair comparison. Etsy does all right with their own standards and what they sell, and they do rival eBay in the categories that they sell in. You can see the trending numbers right here as well. Part of the reason we do so well on eBay is because of their dominance in the area. Now, of course, they have limited some items, but most of the other sites have limits on items too, so just keep that in mind. Now, I also just wanted to shout out a few other sites that I think are very useful and could be helpful to you as a reseller. Now, these are sites to buy things at as well. Now, if you're an auctioneer, you can sell on some of these sites. This is liveauctioneers.com. Very well known. It's been around for a very long time. I have bought many things off of this site before in the past. It's hit or miss. Sometimes the prices are well over what you could ever sell the items for. They have a huge variety, big items all over the country as well. It's a pretty good site. I do look through these quite regularly. Even if I don't buy, I like to see what's going on. Now, another one that I do use is AuctionZip, and I use AuctionZip all the time. And AuctionZip allows you to type in your zip code, and you can actually search for auctions, estate sales, and all sorts of things in your local area, so you will know where they are at. There's a ton on here. It's tied to your area if you put your zip code in. Lots of good information. It has them months out in some cases. Some of the listings have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos, so you can really see what's going on. Most of them will have contact information, so you can call and ask on specifics as well. Usually it'll list like a preview if it's an auction on when you can see the items ahead of time also. This is a 100% site that I use all the time when I'm out diving around and sourcing at locations. This site will be worth your time for sure. Now, another site that many people don't pay a lot of attention to is Heritage Auctions. Now, this is to sell items. Heritage Auctions claims to be the world's largest auction site for collectibles, which I believe they truly are. Now, Heritage Auctions runs auctions for specific genres, specific niches all the time. Campaign pins, buttons, wine bottles, all sorts of different things. We're actually going to be sending some of our autographs to them to have them auction them off. Now, sending something off to a big auction place like this can garner you some of the key buyers in the country that will pay more. Most of these items would be items that I would have PSA'd and would be sending in to have them certified in the whole work. So you're going to have an investment into them. A lot of these will sit for a while too. They'll be photographed for a book that will be published and given out for people who are going to be bidding on the auctions. That way they can see the lots as well. So these are time-consuming aspects. But in many cases you might get 15, 20 times what you would here than you might get on eBay. It calls attention to worldwide bidders who know that name very specifically. Now, there are fees, so it can be more expensive, greatly more expensive, to sell it on a platform like this. But at the end of the day, though, as long as it sells, you're going to get a heck of a lot more money selling it this way at one of these high-end. Christie's is another site. There's several other ones as well. And one last site is estatesales.net. Now, this site will give you all the estate sales, tag sales, and auctions in your neighborhood. Same as the other site we just showed you, Auction Zip. Different sites list different sales, so I do look at them both. Sometimes the photos are different even. Sometimes there are some that are shown on one but not on the other one. I'm assuming it's due to the fees maybe you have to pay as a operator to list on some of these sites. But they have live auctions and all sorts of other things listed on here. These are all key sites you should always know and always look at if you're looking for those vintage, unique niches or the auctions in general. Well, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all of your friends.
One more paralyzing Dragon Blast, and what? Freeze, Fisto!
Dragon Blaster, Skeletor, Fisto, Roboto, and He-Man figures, each sold separately.
Roboto, attack!
Your Dragon Blaster can't stop the most powerful robot in the universe.
Oh, yeah? Freeze, Roboto! I said freeze!
Dragon Blaster, Skeletor, new from the Masters of the Universe collection. Other action figures, each sold separately. From Mattel.